Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general, the Donald off the chain, man. But the people saying he got to shut his mouth now. Twitter say you got to go away forever. Man, there's so much going on with that. It's unreal. They done snatched the woman wig off at the protest, man. You don't snatch no black woman wig off. But we're going to talk about it tonight, homie. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys showing up and showing us love, because without y'all, we wouldn't have a show you the best audience in the world. I want to apologize to guests we had scheduled tonight. Had some other things come up, so we had to go back to what we know we do best. Talk that shit, man. That's what we do. So you get ready for it, because we ain't going to hold back nothing like we normally don't do. I really don't know what's been going on in the world today. Been on Zoom calls with my folk, with the rally up in Cleveland for Tamir Rice. Really the first true test for the United States of America, with black folks rallying or protesting or whatever. So next Friday, we're going to leave it on the floor. And when I say they coming from all over the country, they coming from all over the country. And, you know, we just have a creed about us. I wish I would. Donovan, what's happening?
Yes, absolutely, you guys. It is Friday. We ain't got no jobs. We ain't got no responsibilities. And we ain't got nothing else to do. You guys should be buying some as much weed stock as you can. So you're going to smoke it anyway. But in the news today, a lot of stuff has been going on. Democratic momentum builds for potential fast track of impeachment, which I think is a bunch of bullshit, because by the time they get everything rolling and all the voting and stuff, it'll be over. Right now, the Congress...
But you know, if they impeach him twice, he can never run for public office again.
Correct.
So the idea of him thinking he's going to come back in 4 years, that's why I think they're trying to fast track it.
Right. And the thing about fast tracking it also, too, is the fact that everybody's gone home. So she's going to have to call everybody back, and hopefully we'll get a lot of visits there. In Black news, real quick, how many of you guys remember the lady in the Police Academy series that played Officer Hooks? She's passed away. And being here in California, I got to say, the great manager Tommy Lasorda passed away today. So rest in peace for all those people. And have you guys noticed, especially if you're in our age group, a lot of our 80s stars are just dropping like flies. So for those of you guys that don't believe that this COVID is real, it's real. And instead of 3,000 Americans dying a day, the number has shot up to 4,000 a day. And they don't see it stopping anytime soon as we're spiking in the virus. So, Demetra?
Well, you know, all them people from in the 80s, they dying, they should have complied.
So, yes, indeed. Welcome to Friday night, Warzone edition, the end of the week. Everybody's getting ready for a weekend in the house, of course. You're supposed to be out there social distancing. No big giant groups to do anything, right? You're supposed to stay home and play Uno with your woman and your man and your cat, okay? So anyway, you guys know, especially in Los Angeles, they said Los Angeles County, every 8 minutes, somebody is dying from the COVID. Hospitals are busting at the seams. They have no room at all. Before it was no ICU rooms. Now they have no more room for anybody. They're asking hospitals to reschedule procedures that are non-threatening, regular everyday things that people go to hospital for. Put those on the back burner because they do not have room. Mortuaries is like, oh my God. Like never mind. I was talking about the money aspect.
They're making all the money.
I was about to say that, but I was like, don't be morbid. People are dying. Mortuaries, they can't even handle the amount of bodies that are coming in. They're calling different mortuaries. And they're like, yeah, we're full too. We can't do it. And so it's really a bad situation in Los Angeles County, and unfortunately is getting that way everywhere, really because for one, they won't shut down businesses and people won't wear their masks, they won't social distance. I mean, hell, last weekend we saw plenty of videos. Los Angeles County, as a matter of fact, the police was busting up parties. There was like these underground parties in warehouses and stuff. And people are in there dressed to the nines with masks on, still out there partying. And so, and then the riots that happened the other day, just wait for that fallout. Over 30,000 people were at that riot terrorist event, and most of them had on no mask. Oh my goodness. If that wasn't a super spreader, I don't know what was. Gary? I said, Jamarcus, I didn't say your cat. Like, I was talking about the cat, the real cat. Dirty mind.
Hey, man, I think it's just like Freestyle Friday. We can bounce around, talk about a few things. I see that they done started arresting people. You know, it's sort of like George Floyd incident where you can't get around this. You're going to have to address these people. My issue with it is all you can find with 50, that's it. 50. I knew 50 people went to jail for feeding the homeless. But all you can find is 50. Well, it's a start. They got my man that had his feet on Pelosi's desk. Yeah, they got him. I think they're going to make some examples out of some of them, you know, especially if they, and quote unquote, forgive me, trailer park trash. If you're a poor white person, they're going to make an example out of you. So you get ready for it. You ain't rich. They don't care. And you putting your foot on Pelosi's desk and you from Arkansas, they going to make sure you're in a federal penitentiary all the way up in Boston when they get through with you. But here's the thing I want to ask y'all. An officer lost his life. They beat him with a fire extinguisher. Shouldn't that be capital murder? Shouldn't that be the people that they found? They should all be charged with it. I hear some people trying to get around that, but I think it should be capital murder. And that's just how I feel about it. And in Louisiana, they decided they're going to have a Trump rally on Martin Luther King Day with the 5-star in Cleveland. Man, them boys finna tear y'all ass up down there with that crazy shit.
Well, what better day to have a Trump rally than on Martin Luther King's birthday? I mean, at this point, you really just have to laugh at it all because, you know, they're really trying to get a rise out of people. It's just a day. You know, I mean, I know they designated it to Martin Luther King, but who cares? You know, most Negroes are at work any goddamn way on Martin Luther King's birthday. So, I mean, like, let them have it. Who cares? You know, whoopee. And, you know, as far as the police officer being murdered, because that's what he was murdered, it should be Capital One account because they were at the Capitol, for one, when it happened. But, I mean, to be beaten to death by a fire extinguisher, and these are the very same people who talk about blue lives matter. Well, did that blue life not matter? And he was a white dude on top of that. You know, I could see if maybe the black dude, then yeah, okay. But, you know, because that wouldn't mean nothing to them. But it was a white dude that, you know, was working as a police officer trying to protect and serve and do what Trump and everybody else was saying they should be doing. And they murdered him in cold blood. It's messed up.
You know what I don't understand about the whole thing? Well, I understand it, but here he is making this concession speech saying, you know, we're going to hunt these people down. You don't represent us, you know, blah, 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 right? If I was a Trumpster or a MAGA person, I would be pissed because this guy's now throwing me under the bus. But the rumor is he's going to give those people a pardon before he walks out so that he can still have a base. Because think about it. You followed this guy. You believed everything this guy has said. And then when the shit is hitting the fan, now they're arresting everybody up. He didn't walk with us to the Capitol. He just now throwing us under the bus and saying everything that I told you basically is a lie. It was a fair election. Joe Biden did win. And thanks for your donations, by the way. And you're all going to jail. Good luck. Have a nice day. Gotta go.
Trump need help, man. Trump. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Melania putting that kitty cat on him like she should, man. I think he got some issues, and he been playing with himself too much. Too much jacking off. With no lotion or something will fuck your head up. And I think Trump is fucked up. I really think he fucked up. I'm just telling you. But the crazy part is the people that put out the social media blast, they coming back on the 20th. And this time it's going to be worse. I'm going to tell you, if you go back down there on the 20th of January with that foolishness, you finna have a problem. Now, I'm confused on the pardon. Because don't you have to be convicted first before you get a pardon? So how can he pardon them if they've not been convicted of anything?
Yeah, no, you don't have to be convicted. You just have to be charged. You have to be charged.
Okay, well, you enlightening me. Well, he ain't gonna help the ones that they don't charge before the 20th. Because they going to penitentiary. In our neck of the woods, they going to the penitentiary.
Nah, he said he was paying their legal fees. Don't worry about it. I'll cover your legal fees. Remember, he told that lie when he was campaigning before he became president. Don't worry about him. I got you. And now he's saying, well, I didn't tell him to do that.
Did anybody notice during the insurrection that all of those MAGA people were climbing the wall? What did we just spend $4.6 billion in building this wall? And they just proved that walls don't work. It does not keep people out. Anybody notice that?
So was it really MAGA or was it Antifa?
It was MAGA. It was MAGA.
Let's talk about that, because a lot of the Trumpsters are saying it wasn't Trumpsters. Say, man, all y'all look the same to us. Y'all say we all look the same, but all y'all look the same to us. And I can't decipher a Trumpster from a Antifa. All this shit come about when Trump come. A whole bunch of shit came when Trump came. Antifa, who the hell is that? And then you got a Mexican dude leading the charge. He the most luckiest dude in the world, because they made him stay at home. So now you don't get to go to jail with your partners. Trump ain't paying no legal fees. He ain't gonna do nothing. Trump finna come up missing on the 20th. And I really think if he really wanted to save himself, resign like Nixon did, bro. Resign like Nixon did, ride off into the sunset, let them build your library and do what you do. Because that's all you're gonna get out the game from him.
Well, Trump don't read, so they're not gonna build no library for him.
Well, here's the thing. As we're armchair quarterbacking and putting in our speculation and pointing out things that I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen as well. I think the reason Trump doesn't want to go is because, like a lot of us, the moratorium on his eviction is up on January 20th, and this man is basically homeless. He can't go to Mar-a-Lago. He can't go to Europe. They don't want him in Ireland in that property over there. Europe, he's a pariah. I mean, anywhere he can't stay in the United States for the simple fact that he is going to be served papers by the New York Attorney General, and he has to answer those papers and all those civil lawsuits. So he wants to get the hell out of town, and he has nowhere to go. So, we have to sit and pray for him, because, we got to pray for those that spitefully use us, and and it'll be all right. And even though he just dogged us out and tried to overturn the government, we got to pray for him. We're Christians. He's homeless, you guys. He's homeless. What do you think, D?
Yeah, I think Trump definitely stepped in it. As you guys know, Twitter permanently disabled his account. It's no longer there at all. And they've also disabled quite a few people who are connected to him, their account as well. Before I came on here, Don Jr. was lamenting about how you know, terrorists from overseas and this, that, and the other can have a Twitter, and you know they permanently suspend the president of the United States account. And so I just simply tweeted in reply under that, your dad's a douche. Okay, that's why his account is gone. I mean, it's like you acted like this dude didn't just incite a whole riot. And yeah, he could resign like Nixon, but Nixon didn't incite violence. He didn't do any of that. He just, cheated a little bit, just wiretapping. But yeah, Trump really stepped in it. He's got, as you guys know, a lot of people resigned. Even Betsy DeVos, the Secretary of Education, if you want to call her that, she completely effed up, education, had no experience in education at all. I think her she's the heiress to Hewlett Packard or something. She's comes from big money somewhere. And, Trump was just putting his friends everywhere. And so they've all jumped ship and said, yeah, it's been a good 4 years. You stayed 4 years and 12 days into to the end of his term, you got to quit. Now you've had enough, huh? So profile encourage. Yeah. Trump, he really, really stepped in it. And it's said too that his supporters, his followers, Kool-Aid drinkers, I don't know, they're upset now because he threw them under the bus. It's like, you see, you know what happens when you drink the Kool-Aid. It's not good for you. I mean, it's like you see him throw everybody. Like, how could you watch this man throw all of his friends, that he put into different positions, throw them under the bus? Michael Cohen called him a rat when he, before he went to prison, because he was telling them. I mean, these are like his ace boon coons, and these people he's never met, would never have a beer with, are upset because he turned on them. Did you think he was homies? I mean, where did you get that wrong?
They didn't know the cardinal rule. Our black parents always told us, for you good white folk out there, so you'll know, don't never do no crime with no white boy. Don't never do no crime with no white boy. Y'all have been doing crimes with Trump for 4 years. What you thought that white boy was gonna do? That white boy left y'all hanging. Man, let me tell you something. You rode that train with him, you should have rode it to the end. All these people's political careers are over. Now I want to see what the people are going to do with the senators that, wanted to overthrow the electoral vote. Down here in Texas, we got Ted Cruz. And right now they want his head. Well, Ted is trying to, say, it wasn't like that. We were fighting for democracy. Shut the fuck up, dude. You knew what y'all were doing. And you knew that was going to gas them people up. So I want to see what they're going to. I mean, the bottom line is Joe them can go into office and really mess these people's lives up. But are they going to do it? Are they going to invoke the 25th Amendment? Nope. They ain't going to do nothing because Joe got skeletons in the closet. He may have to come back and use that shit on him. We already know he sleep half the goddamn time. They got to wake him up right before he go into the press room. He's sitting in a corner somewhere like he a narcoleptic. So, you want to see what they're going to do. I really want to see what they're going to do, man, because it's crazy right now. And to even think that these people are thinking about coming back on the 20th, man, they going to kill all y'all. They going to kill all y'all this time. Y'all made them people nervous, man.
Yep. And Trump says he's not going to attend the inauguration. But let's talk about what our friends out here really want to talk about. You guys know what that is? Biden, when you going to get us that check you told us you were going to get us if we voted for you? Because $600, and most people that I know haven't even received the $600, haven't gotten that yet. So now everybody's like, where's the $2,000? When's it coming? When are we going to have it? Now, is that what you guys want to talk about? Because a lot of us are getting excited as the 20th comes because we are waiting on that $2,000. Now, let's do the math. $2,000 divided by 12 is a little under $100 a month to pay all of your bills.
If you got that 2,000 and you're out there and you're sleeping in the homeless embankment, you ain't got to pay no light bill. You ain't got to pay no water bill, no rent, nothing like that. That shit might work for people there, but I want to see people get the 2,000. But the question is how many times they're gonna give the 2,000? That's the question. And I think if you giving it to people once a month, that's decent. They can survive. But to give it to them once every 6 or 7 months, that doesn't work, man.
That's what the people should have been running up in the Capitol on, is their money. Okay. Now I could have understood that, playing with people's emotions and bank accounts and stuff, talking about some $600. That's what people should have rolled on Congress for. But this Trump stuff, yeah, that was a lost cause right there. But I mean, will they give people additional $2,000 to be seen? We heard Joe Biden say, if you guys get the Democrats in Georgia.
Feedback.
Oh, he said if you get the 2,000, if you guys get the Democrats in Georgia, then y'all gonna get the $2,000. And so it's like, all right, it remains to be seen. But $2,000, yes, but it needs to be every month until. And I've heard Kamala say that. It should be $2,000. I think she said until the pandemic is over. She said 3 months after the pandemic is over, whenever that is. And as we know, in every state, this pandemic it's like, hey, you know what the pandemic is doing? It put its feet up on the coffee table like that man did on Nancy Pelosi's desk. The pandemic is not going anywhere. And so, yeah, to give people, $2,000 once, that it really is a slap in the face. I mean, this thing is going to be here for a minute.
I don't think we're ever going to get back to normal. I think this is what it is, and this is how it's going to be. We have to make the adjustments. I've already made the adjustments. I'm not fucking with some of y'all. I'm not going to get parties, none of that. Don't invite me. I don't want to be the one to tell you no, but I'm not going. So, I don't think it's going to change, Donovan. I think it's going to stay the same, and we just got to deal with it. But I'm so happy that Pelosi resigned. I'm an education advocate. And when I say that woman tore up education in the United States of America for African-American kids, she tore it up for them. And that's something that we can't recover from, because once you damage them to that degree, 4 years of damage that she did, you got kids graduating that can't even spell their name. So somebody like Pelosi needs to go. And I'm glad that she's gone. I mean,
DeVos,
some of the top.
DeVos. Her name is DeVos.
DeVos. DeVos. Betsy DeVos. I'm glad that she's gone, as well as some of these other people. But for us to get to what we want, the rubber gonna hit the road January 20th. That's when you're gonna find out if your vote was really cast for the right person. Because starting January 20th, you're gonna see that man true colors, man. I think you're gonna see his true colors, and ain't shit gonna pop. That's just how I feel. I may be wrong. Hopefully you get the 2,000. I think you're gonna get it. But outside of that, that's gonna be your reparations.
If anything, what we learned and what I see when those, isn't it funny that when the white people have had enough, they go and wreck shit. Just think if black people, because we love our white masters so much, we sick master, we sick, the master's sick, but we say we sick. We don't do anything. And as long as we have that mentality that we're not going to do anything, we just talking. But notice when those white people went up there to that Capitol and was tearing up shit, those representatives feared for their lives. So especially the congressional ones, you have to go and face these people in those communities. You don't think they are going to be trying to work a little harder for the people versus the corporations that they really represent, and they've been representing for at least 20 to 30 years? They feared for their lives because they went in there and said, people ain't going to take it anymore. And what have we been saying on this show for months? I've been telling you guys, what was the Russian Revolution about? What was the French Revolution about? In the French Revolution, the wealth gap got so big, and the poor got so poor that they just started rounding up rich people and just murdering them, just because you're rich. You know, have versus the have-nots. So if a lot of those congressional leaders are smart, they're going to start giving some biscuits to the very people that elect them in the cycle that they want to be elected. Because to me, right now, in that climate that we live in, being a congressman or being a politician is a dangerous job. So if they did that on the congressional level, what do you think these groups are going to do at the local level, at your city council meetings, at your, assembly meetings, at the state houses, at the education boards? People ain't having it no more. And this is where we're getting to. And that's what these revolutions are about. I'm not saying what they did was right. And I'm not trying to tell you guys go out and do that. But if we would be serious, just think if Black people did that. Yes, people are going to get hurt, but it's your job not to be the person that gets hurt or killed. I think they would take our situation a little bit more serious. Well, what do you guys think?
I think you might be right. Matter of fact, I know that you're right. They have no fear of us. When you have fear of people, you start moving, you start doing things. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. A lot of people in politics, they fear me. So when I show up, I mean, we solve the issue expeditiously. So, you know, when they don't have any fear of Black people, they're not inclined to rush and do shit for them. They're not. But, you know, the way some of them white folk felt, that's how I feel about my money. You took my money, man. I want what I want. You ain't just finna do us like this. Well, I think that's their fight. They got to deal with it. The best thing I can tell them, if they want to go back down there on the 20th, Donovan, tear that motherfucker up if that's what you want to do.
So, moving on, there was a Black woman in Los Angeles. We had some feedback. There's a Black woman in Los Angeles. I guess they had a Trump rally out there about 2 days ago. Black woman was walking by, and she ended up getting caught up in the melee, and some of the Trump supporters gaffled her up, snatched her up, if you will. Gaffled, that's that you could tell, dating myself. Snatched her up and ended up spraying mace in her face and snatching her wig off. They snatched her wig off. And she was, you know, in distress, I would say. Now, there's a photo of a white guy holding her. Now, from the way it appears that maybe he is giving her a hard time, but per her own words in an interview, and that's what I was just listening to in her interview that she gave, she said he was actually protecting me, telling her in her ear, because she said she couldn't see anything. She couldn't see anything because they had maced her. She said he was telling her, I got to get you out of here because they're going to harm you. I got to get you out of here. And so sounds like Tariq Nasheed got him fired because he worked for Toyota. And, you know, people are mad at him. They're like, well, he was actually one of the good guys. And so, but other than that, yeah, it's unfortunate. She was walking home from work, from what I understand, and just walking by. And I guess she kind of had a little back and forth with him as well. Yeah, and they snatched her up and snatched her wig off, and you know, all of that. Name Barbara, she's 25, but
hey, if we're talking about how important, you know, these weaves and wigs are, Demetra, tell us a little bit of what happened to your girl down there, Representative Houston, when the white folks were busting in. She took her bun off. They said she unwrapped it, threw it out the window.
And rolled down like Rapunzel. You wrong. I actually said that earlier. That's what Sheila Jackson Lee did with her braids. We now know what it was good for. It's an emergency escape plan. She rolled her little unrolled her buns, threw them out the window, and she she scaled down them out the window like Rapunzel and was looking for Rumpelstiltskin or whoever the hell that dude was. That was the prince or somebody.
I think there's a picture of her running without her shoes, you know, away from the Capitol.
And she had her with her, okay? No.
Well, I'm gonna say this here, man. I know that was an unfortunate incident for the sister walking home, but y'all disrespectful, man. You don't pull a black woman wig off me. I'm sorry, but you don't do no shit like that, man. That type of shit make somebody slap shit out you, man. You don't pull nobody wig off me. They all say if you're gonna pull the wig off, pull the girdle off at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, especially as black men, do you know how much we want to run our fingers through our black women's hair? And we can't even do that. And this white man got the nerve to pull a black woman's weave and stuff off. How dare he?
No, you don't do no shit like that, man. I mean, that disrespect. Say, there's certain things you could do to us. If you call us the N-word, we bust you in the mouth. If you spit on us, bust you in the mouth. You women gonna have to stand up for your hair that you buy. You're gonna have to stand up for it, man. Somebody snatch your wig off, bust them in the mouth.
Yeah, that was rather okay. That was rather messed up that they pulled that sister's hair off like that. How did they know it was a wig though?
Aren't they all wigs?
No, they ain't all wigs. I just wanted to know how they knew it was a wig. It could have been her hair. Wow. That's I agree with you, Gary. Nothing's more demeaning than that. First of all, you don't touch no black woman's hair, and you definitely don't snatch off her wig.
There's a lot of things about us that ain't real. You feel what I'm saying? She might have had a waist trainer on. She probably, a lot of us don't take care of our grill, and we got fake teeth in our mouth. So if I know these type of things about you before I get into it with you, I'm snatching your wig, your girdle, and your grill out your mouth.
I think we know that it wasn't her hair because she had the red, blue, Krusty the Clown setting on there, just something, so we knew it wasn't her real hair.
Now, you can be like the other sister that was in the crowd when they were talking that shit to her, and she fired off on one of them. So you can't play with everybody. Everybody don't play Uno. See, y'all playing Uno, we playing spades. We on some black shit over here. So sometimes running your mouth get you bust in the mouth.
Absolutely. She gave him that twisted T. But also in the news today, how many of you guys heard about the young lady that tackled the young black man in New York City? She was arrested. Demetria, could you kind of fill everybody in on that?
Yeah, Maya, something, Pensetto.
Booger Wolf.
You stupid. Maya Pensetto, Soho Karen is what they call her. She she was in New York when the incident happened, but she's actually a resident of Southern California. The police, somebody from New York flew out to Los Angeles to help them find her. Because, other than that, she was out and about getting her some sweet tea from McDonald's and letting everybody know that she's not white. She's actually Puerto Rican. And so they ended up finding her. But before they brought her into custody, she took them on a little bit of a wild chase and was resisting arrest. And I think they got her for assault. So they said they're going to figure out if they're going to extradite her to New York. And then they got to once she does all of that, they're going to have to try her out here for evading arrest and I guess assault on a police officer. So doesn't sound like she's really wrapped too tight after all. She also had an interview with Gayle King. And Gayle King was trying to interview her, and she basically told Gayle King, enough. Basically, I'm tired of talking to you and all of that. But Shaun King actually made a good point. He says you could tell she's only 22. Not that really matters. She knows better. But he says you could tell she's been living her life as a white woman because just how she talks and her ideologies and stuff. She just identifies with white, but she wanted to bring out her PR card, a Puerto Rican card. I guess that was supposed to score her some points. Like, oh, okay, well, she ain't racist after all. But yeah, so now she's gonna be doing time.
Gayle caught her in several lies. One lie was she was checking everybody that came out the hotel. That's a goddamn lie. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. But I'm gonna say this here, whether she Puerto Rican or not, whatever she is, you ain't black. I can tell you that. Because how in the hell do you get charges on the left and the right coast in the two most notorious states in the country, California and New York? You ain't getting out of one of them. And I think I don't know what New York gonna do. California gonna make some money off of her ass.
Trump will give her a pardon. Don't worry. She'll be okay.
He need to pardon these nuts in his mouth and go sit down somewhere. He need to figure out how he gonna get a fucking pardon. Cause the dude say, man, let me tell you something. I've seen some crazy folk in my world, in my life. Black, white, Latino, LGBTQ. I've seen a bunch of crazy people. But this dude here is 2 sandwiches short of a picnic. You gassed them people up. They went out there crazy as hell. And this is where I think outside the box. It don't matter if he in office. He gonna keep gassing them up. He gonna make them think he can run in 4 years. He gonna keep gassing them up. And these fools gonna keep doing it. And you gonna keep getting that hot shit put in you messing with these black people. Now, I give them credit, Gene. The only thing you really did in the 2 days, you snatched that lady wig off her head. But if you're looking for some smoke, you know who to mess with, because we ain't feeling how y'all were treated with honor and dignity when you broke into a federal building. We you know, but my people stand next to the Popeyes with a cigarette in their hand. Y'all think we finna burn this motherfucker down. Y'all sending everybody and their mama to handle it. But I'm still trying to figure out, how did they breach one of the most secure buildings in the world? But that sister that made a mistake and ran into them, whatever, them pylons or whatever, they put them bullets in her. So how these people breach that security, man? Now, staged or whatever, a whole bunch of y'all know what went on. And if you try to give them people some time, them organizers who was out there gonna snitch on somebody.
You know, going back to the MAGA crowd and the Trumpsters, this is how emboldening these people were, in the fact that you're going to do a crime, and then and this is how the FBI and all these organizations are snatching these people up. They're going on their social media accounts and just grabbing them up. I mean, your name is there. But that's white privilege, when they just fear nothing's going to happen to me. I could do this.
They not really trying to find them, Donald. You motherfuckers done put out some flyers. You put some flyers out. If we sell a rock, they gonna find the rock, the gun, the pill bottle, you, your mama house, everybody in less than 30 minutes. And you putting flyers out? Come on, man, we ain't trying to find nobody. And all you can find is 50. When they say, well, maybe they'll get 200. I saw way more than 200 people there. I saw more than 200 people come out the door looking into a news camera. You got facial recognition type shit. You know what I'm saying? You got that Prince 1999 shit. You find out anything.
Yeah,
all the goddamn satellites up there in the air, you find all of them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They're giving interviews. Nothing's going to happen to them, right? So now, like some of people are saying in the comments, there is no doubt that some of these not some of them, a lot of these law enforcement officials are part of white supremacy. How do you breach your job and let these people breach, and you're taking selfies with them, and you're handshaking and clapping them and keep holding the door for them and stuff like that? So if anybody comes up to you guys and says that white supremacy does not exist, we have the evidence right there. Look at the difference in how a peaceful black protest is going on, regardless if it's Black Lives Matter or whatever, but we were fairly peaceful. Then you have this with far less people, but way more violence. It just doesn't add up.
I'm still trying to figure out how them Crips got in there. How the motherfucker got in there in them wheelchairs. Who got them up them steps? Say, man.
That video actually is from that video is not actually connected to the riots that happened on Wednesday. I think that was from 2017. They were marching, wheeling, pulling.
Yeah, was it like deaf people?
No, it was for the Disability Act. I guess that was in question, and so they were protesting that.
Well, it's a lot of people that are popping up that own businesses, like the lady up in Frisco, Texas, was a realtor. The guy with the Rouse's grocery stores in Louisiana, they showed a picture of one of his parking lots today, empty. Empty. You gonna learn. You gonna learn. And I'm gonna tell you something, Donovan, you was in the military. Demetri, think about this here. See, me and Demetri, we gonna think about this.
I was in the military too.
Yeah, okay. Demetri was in the military.
I've been in the war, in the hood. So I was in the hood military. But them motherfuckers was scaling them walls like Navy SEALs. Say, man, they ain't no regular dude scaling no wall like that, man.
Yeah. Did you see the guy in the tactical gear and stuff like that? He most likely had military training and stuff.
These motherfuckers think that they was Rambo.
Yeah, he had zip ties, all kinds of stuff.
Man, them people need Jesus.
But here's the question everybody I know wants to know. It's the most important thing you saw in all the memes and everything, okay? And Demetri's gonna tell you why this guy was there. How many of you guys saw the brother in Capitol building just standing there looking among all these white MAGA people? Demetra, please tell our friends why he was there.
Well, he was there because he got intel that that's where the money resides. And so he was looking for his stimulus check. He said, I heard, you know, I'm just like, he said, I thought y'all wanted us to come down here and get it ourselves.
What? Because I'm stupid, but I know how lawyers think. Didn't they receive an invite? They were invited to come by the president of the United States. When I say it's going to be some legal wrangling with this shit that's going to shock us when it all come out, you know, how they going to let some of these people off. But that brother, boy, they finna lock you in a cage and bread and water. You're going to get about 40 years. You're going to think you Nelson Mandela. They're going to give you about 40 years, man. And the rest of them going to get probation.
Yeah, I saw him standing there. I was like, "What? Like, what are you doing there? You just, because naturally, black people, we nosy, but we ain't that kind of nosy. We don't get that involved in white folks stuff quite like that. It was just the oddest thing. You're just standing there, like, so this is it, huh? This is where the magic happens. I mean, like, what was you doing there? Looking like a piece of pepper in a salt container. Just the only Negro there.
Oh, it's easy to find the cockroach in the bowl of milk. He was the cockroach in the bowl of milk. It ain't. If anybody got facial recognition 20 minutes after it was over, it was his dumb ass. Some fights ain't our fights. This is not our fight. And you know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I'm praying for the people in DC because that shit gonna get ugly on the 20th if them people go back down to me. And that's the time that I think it's gonna be a bunch of dead white people. I really think that they not gonna play with them this time because you don't get too many chances to scare the hell out of white people. They don't play that. So you can best believe that. I thought Biden shit was virtual anyway. I thought the inauguration was virtual.
Well, for the few cabinet members and Congress people, they're going to be there pretty much. But as a whole, to open it up to the people, they don't want to do that. So it's going to be like for certain people are going to be there, and then it's going to be virtual for the rest of us to see the homies all kicking it together and stuff. So,
well, I tell you what, I'm a senator and a congressman. The phone ring. Bring. Mr. Monroe, you've been invited to the inauguration. Who the fuck is this? You ain't saw what the fuck that went on down there 2 weeks ago. Say, tell my man Joe we gonna kick it around July. Tell him I ain't coming nowhere near that motherfucker right now. I'm gonna stay at home. I gotta deal with these people. You know, the aftermath of Martin Luther King Day. I'm gonna do that for right now. But I'm not coming back up there. And if I come back up there, I'd be damned if I'm gonna be hiding up under some motherfucking some sheets and all that shit this time. Say, man, tell Joe I holler at him. Tell him right now he blocked, so don't call the phone. Click.
You know what? And then, you know, there has been threats. If you guys saw the videotapes, as the people were dispersing, they did say, don't make us come back. And we won't, next time we won't be non-violent. But also, what had happened is, if you guys heard about the young white woman that was shot, the video has been put on Twitter and it's on Facebook and stuff. People have been sharing it. 14-year Air Force veteran, of course, being a white supremacist, you know, she forgot her core values while being in the military, and she was known to be on the deep end of everything. So 5 people are dead. The cop did die, and a few other people did die. And at the end of the day, though, here's the question. And, you know, Dimitri, you could kind of lead us into this. Now that we have all 3 parts of government, what is going to stop the Democratic Party from getting us reparations, or at least getting us a vote on the floor for reparations?
Well, nothing's going to stop them, but, you know, why do anything for Black people? We didn't ask them to do anything for us before they got there. We gave them the presidency, the House, the Senate, and for free. That's like somebody coming to you saying, that's a nice car, I really like it. You say, well, here, you can have it. You don't want me to give you anything for it? No, you can have it. And then you think about it and say, well, you know what? I kind of do want something. I gave you a Ferrari. I'd like a couple of dollars. Well, nah, you gave it to me for free. I mean, so they're not going to do anything. I mean, you know, take your little symbolism and put some Lowry's on it, and I hope it tastes good. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to backtrack a second. And you brought up the fact that them people were killed. And the one I feel the worst for is the cop. He was just doing his job. But everybody else did not comply. They didn't comply. Ain't that what y'all say about us? We didn't comply. You didn't put your hands on the steering wheel.
I read this. I'm not even being funny. Like, for real, for real. This is what I read about one of the dudes that died. Apparently, what had happened was he had a taser, and somehow the taser got triggered. And I swear I'm not kidding you. They said the taser zapped him in his Bozak, his balls. And then I guess the way he fell on the taser, it continued to light his balls up. And then he ended up having a heart attack on my mama. Okay? On my mama.
So the man had a heart attack behind these nuts.
His nuts.
Yeah, his nuts.
Yeah.
He had a heart attack behind his nuts.
And I heard his name was Chad.
Well, guess what? He didn't comply.
Huh?
He didn't comply.
Yeah, they said his name was Chad. Chad's nuts roasting on an open fire. Yeah, but for real, I heard that the taser was, and then he died of a heart attack from the electricity. I promise you.
Well, if he go listen to that Players from the South, Master P and UGK, you know, when that thing hit him in his balls, you know, every day you got to bust 2. They go, what? I hope he got him 2 before he left.
Oh, man.
You know what? I know some people saying, man, 5 stars, heartless. Have you seen the comments that were made about Ahmaud Arbery, about Breonna Taylor, about George Floyd? I'm just returning the favor, big homie. It's called life coming in full circle.
You know, I want to read this by Janelle Muhammad, always giving us great advice. It's clear and evident that we as Black people must do for self or continue to be this white nation economic reserve on all levels, especially slave-minded to our demise and state of dependency. We must exodus. Revelations 18:4. Knowledge, and that's going to be the key. Moving forward, when you got to depend on another person to feed you, you don't have a chance. That same person that you depend on to feed you is the same person that can starve you.
Well, I think if this whole thing that showed us anything, so what happens to the nation when black folk come together? Man, the white folk that ain't even major. Imagine if black people come together and we stop playing these games. See, I'm gonna tell you now, y'all got real lucky with what went on over there, Demetri and Donovan. There's been some black people around there. You wouldn't have nothing in the building today. Wouldn't have been nothing to clean up because everything was coming out of there. Anything look like electronics, they taking it home. They taking it home. So here's the thing, and I'm joking about that, but I'm not joking about coming together. But at this point, I think there needs to be real talk about separation. This is not working. No matter how much we trying to push the narrative, no matter how much your elected officials are talking about, nobody should tear us apart. We ain't never been together, homie. I mean, Art Acevedo, police chief, love him to death. You on the news again talking about what Ted Cruz did. But wasn't it your police department that was, hitting them people with tear gas and rubber bullets, and they hadn't done nothing after George Floyd, after the march? You ain't no better than them people, man. So I think it just needs to be separation. I'm being honest with you. That don't mean I don't like some of y'all. That just means you need to go your way and we go ours.
Yeah, Ted Cruz, that dude there, I mean, it wasn't that long ago when they were all debating. We got a little bit of feedback. When they were debating, he was talking about how horrible Donald Trump was, and now he just, I was gonna say something bad, but he loves Trump. Okay, he really, 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 really loves Trump. I saw somebody put in the comment section that he's thinking about resigning, or not resigning, but he's backing away from Trump. But he was one of the senators that voted not to confirm the election results, and
that was even after the insurrection happened. He still did it.
Yeah, so
Ted Cruz basically needs to get his mouth off of Trump's dick.
I wasn't gonna quite go that far, but it was close. It was in the same ballpark.
But that's why they call me 5-star. I'm gonna say what people can't say. He need to get his mouth off of Trump's dick, because he, realistically, it's either his mouth or his asshole. Because he ain't doing nothing but riding his dick one way or the other.
But let's say Joe Biden keeps his word, which I would be surprised if he did. What are we going to do with that money? Now, I would hope, and I'm just putting this out there because I don't want nobody saying, well, nobody told me what I should do. We need to take that money and practice group economics. Now, a lot of you guys that are behind in your rent, or you're going to lose your car or your house, let it go. Let it go and just start over. Let's just start over. Let's put our money together.
Let's all go to the park. Bring the little smoke and let's go to the park. We can stay warm and cook at the same time.
I mean, let's just start over. Let's take that money, do what a lot of the Mexicans do out here in California. We wrote the blueprint on group economics. Everybody models everything after us, period. So, if you're behind in this, it's just like if you have a creditor and, you owe that money from 5 years ago and they keep calling you. Nah, don't even pay it. You might as well go ahead and wait for the other 2 years and let it drop off automatically. Let's just take our money, let's put it together, and let's start taking care of ourselves. I mean, that's, to me, the only way we're going to basically get out of this alive.
Economically speaking, we can't keep doing the same thing. There's no way that we're going to survive. We can't keep doing the same thing. We got to switch up. Demetri?
I was reading this comment here. Let's see. Oops. So Shane, you say, and how you doing, by the way? I'm so surprised that the Capitol got attacked and Black Lives Matter supporters are condemning people that attacked. I'm surprised they haven't been praising the attackers. Didn't they attack the same old white, I think you meant men, that has protected the systematic racism machine? I'm not quite sure where your comment is going, so I'll yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speculate one way or the other.
Hey, well, let me jump on this comment real quick. Our good friend Miss Bowie Fayetteville, beautiful name. She says, "How does a person prove they are descendants of a slave? Being Black does not mean your forefathers were Black slaves brought to this country." You are absolutely right. Just because you are Black-skinned like me, like Obama wouldn't get a check. Kamala would not get a check. Okay, there is a way you can prove it. And you got to think about this, Miss Bowie. Slavery for me is only 5 generations back. I think it's really 4 in my family. It's 4 generations back. For you, it was probably 2 or 3 at the most. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, the people that were living where you can get to those numbers. But remember, slaves were property. They have these numbers in the National Archives. They have it in the insurance. They have it. So if you can trace your family back to at least a minimum of 1870, you most likely are a descendant of a slave. But if you came here in the 1960s, knowing what this white man is doing and busting heads and all that other stuff, you do not get a check because we are not of the same lineage. We are totally different and I can prove it because when you talk to an African that comes here, or you talk to a Dominican, or you talk to a Haitian, what do they say? You're not of my tribe. I'm of Ibu. I'm a Zulu. I am this. I am that. But when they come here and they get their heads busted because they have the same color as us, they experience the same racism that we do because we share the same color, but we don't share the same lineage. And for us, there are records.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if Maury can find out who the baby daddy is, surely they can find out who our ancestors are.
Well, I'm gonna just say this here. I'm not going through all that shit. My people were slaves. I need my money. My people from Louisiana, I need my money, man. Now y'all figure that shit out along the way. I'm Black as anything that came on the boat from Africa. I need my money, and all of us you should give it to all of us.
Yeah,
all of us forever. My people were slaves. I want my money.
Yeah, here in California, reparations was passed, and Gavin Newsom signed it into law last year. This is not a study. Reparations is going. The question is now how to distribute it, and they are going through right now, looking at records and trying to set up how a person like me could, number one, apply, and then what documentation would I need to prove my lineage. So it can be done.
I got my driver's license, my social security card. That's all you need to know.
And what he needs to know is I've been in California my whole life with the exception of a couple of months. And so technically I'm still in California and I want my money, Gavin. Okay, don't play with me. I want my money.
Well, I pray that my man Joe get in there and he gives some financial relief to some people, to everybody that need it, man. I mean, Black, white, no matter what. I mean, people are struggling, bro, to just put food on the table, man. It has never been like this. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump will go down as one of the worst presidents in the history of the United States of America. That stunt that was pulled the other day made sure that those people that supported him, who we thought were crazy the whole time, they can't support him anymore. They just needed, you know how you just need that one thing for somebody stupid to do? And that was enough. And now some of these people understand, I've been supporting a madman for 4 years. You don't say. You just figured that shit out. The man was in a reality show. And guess what he did? He set you up with the show before the finale. The finale is January 20th. And I can guarantee you, he gonna go out with a motherfucking bang. That's just him.
But for everybody out there, though, January 20th is going to be a very pivotal day, especially for Black people, because if Joe Biden does not deliver, the Democratic Party is done. The Republican Party is doing something else that's going to split within a war within itself. And for us, it's a day of reset, because just like the 5-star said, we cannot afford moving forward to continue to do the same things we've been doing. And what we need is people like Miss Bowie, who are the CEOs of civil rights movements and how to do things, to tell us the mistakes that her generation made so that we don't make those mistakes and we could go on as a stronger people and get the bag like we're supposed to get it, because that is the one thing that the civil rights movement did wrong. Nobody benefited more so from civil rights than the very people who fought it. Everybody else, the children of the civil rights era people, I'm a child of the civil rights era, I'm sitting here holding the bag. I don't have, anything to really show, and I'm fighting and I'm fighting and I'm fighting because that era pulled up the ladder and said, go get your own. So we have to do something better for our children.
We have to do something better. I think that the Democratic and the Republican Party are both at the reset point. Just start from scratch now. The Republican Party is tore the hell up. It is tore the hell up. Anybody affiliated with Trump don't even need to try to run next time. Pence, I don't give a damn what they say. You ain't got a shot in hell. Ain't nobody gonna take that chance no more. So now you got a chance to hit the reset button. And now all of y'all that voted for Massa Joe, you need to hold him accountable. You need to make sure that he do everything in his power like he said he was going to do. But them first 100 days going to tell it. If he don't do it in the first 100 days, he ain't going to do a goddamn thing.
Yes, indeed. So what we got to say in our final words for the week? I guess I'll go first. Have a great weekend. I mean,
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, you guys. White folks and white supremacy is on its last leg, and they ain't going to just lay down and let it die out. So I'm going to tell you guys, arm yourselves, protect yourself, defend yourself, because these folks out here feel that Donald Trump was their savior, and without him, nothing else matters. So don't be fooled, and tell your children whatever to look over their shoulders. Do not be fooled, because remember how the Justice Department said that with all these black men hanging themselves across the nation, especially here in California, there was 2 or 3 incidents here in California. How many of you guys saw that those white folks at that Capitol erected a lynching post there? There's a picture of it. So be very careful. Arm yourself if you can arm yourself. Don't hurt anybody, but if somebody puts their hands on you, send them to the cemetery.
I think it's been a hell of a week for the war zone. A lot of good information. I kind of piggyback off what Donovan said. Somebody put their hands on you, send them to the cemetery. That's the bottom line. That's all it boils down to. As far as me, this weekend, we got a major community meeting. If you're in the city of Houston, show up. Look on my page. The flyers on my page. On the panel will be Executive Police Chief Troy Finner, City Councilwoman at large Letitia Plummer. I'm going to be on the panel. My man Scarface supposed to stop by. You see what I'm saying? Let's talk about it, because we got to save ourselves. These people ain't going to save us. They ain't going to save us, man. So, I just want the good folk that was fighting the war Wednesday to know one thing. You are just like us. You live in this world, and it's fucked up. And the world is a ghetto. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in and listening to my good friend Donovan, Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K, and the foul-mouthed, cigarette-smoking, beer-drinking 5-star general. Until Monday, we'll holler at you. Man, the world is a ghetto, man.
Let's take the journey to the other side, where many people learn to live with their handicaps while the others die.
Where motherfuckers had no money spots.
And if they did, then they asked when it stayed.
When all the money stopped.
I'm